Hello and welcome to another episode of the shakeup podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Dad FF. I got my C4. I got my cowbell. It is literally trade night. I mean, every Tuesday we come at you 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Make sure you guys go over there. You smash the subscription. We've been putting out crazy content, approaching 3,600 subscribers. So you guys keep coming out big time for that. We really appreciate it. Tonight's show, we're really trying to focus in on these 2025 rookie drafts with a little bit of 2027 wrinkle thrown in there. Nobody better to chop it up with than my main man, Snoog and Broc. Snoog, I mean, we're going to jump into these trades, but I'm 25 rookie drafts in. I'm getting a real good feel of what's going on, and I feel like now's the time to make the trades. This is where you get to be, make or break your teams.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this trade show because rookie drafts are really starting to crank up and people are coming out of their den. So tonight we're going to see 23, 25 different types of trades and all the super chats that are going to pour in, showing us what rookie picks are going around for. So I'm excited for this show.
Broc, rookie guide 3.0 drops. No better time to give it away than what we're doing right now. We're going to do 5 super chats. Is going to be 1 month of a basic and a rookie guide. So that will give you a $45 value. We get to 10 super chats. We're going to do 2 VIP Patreons, 2 rookie guides. That's $100 out the door. If we get to 20, we will do 2 VIPs, 2 rookie guides, and the invitation to our not Scott Fishbowl. Sorry, that's a different day. 2 Smash Accept 20, our high roller $200 league. So Broc, I'm excited. I know you put a ton of work into rookie guide 3.0. Tell everybody what they're going to get, and let's get this puppy rolling.
Yeah, me and Snoog tackled that. We spent the weekend after the draft and that next week going ahead and getting that all dialed in. So super cool, branded with all the team logos and colors, paragraphs and information from Snoog. Your guys' rookie big board. So straight up, who we taking over who, cross-positionally, and also a really good trade page in there. If you want to trade back this year, if you want to trade back to next year, 27, exactly what you can do to go ahead and smash your league. So really good information there. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our trade show. So first here, trade number 1 coming from Josh McClure over on Discord. We got a rebuilding team, one side with CeeDee Lamb and the other side with Ladd McConkey and the 107. Dad, I'm going to pass this back to you. What do we like here? Rebuilding team.
All right. So Josh is an awesome guy from the Discord. I said, hey, we're rebuilding. We're on the clock. Let's be patient, right? So we're shopping CeeDee Lamb. Now, what if I told you that the 107 became Tedoroy McMillan? Now it's a totally different trade. The 107, yeah. I don't want this. But sitting there and being patient, and a lot of you guys, I see you're trying to trade for that rookie pick before you know what it is. And sometimes that works. But other times when you're rebuilding, and I keep telling everybody this, they're like, Dad, I really need this. I really need that. No, you don't need anything. You're rebuilding. You need value. So wait. So if you're trying to trade a stud asset like CeeDee Lamb to tear down to Ladd McConkey, that's fine. If this is for Ladd McConkey and Quinshon Judkins, I hate it. If this is for Ladd McConkey and Tedoroy McMillan, it's a smash. So like I keep telling people, be patient with these trades. Sometimes it's good when you're trading up. If you can get into an area where you think someone's going to go, that's great. But if you're tearing down, make sure the guy you want is there. A lot of people I see make this kind of trade and they're like, I want such and such at 106 and he should be there. Or I talked to the guy at 104 and 105 and this is who they're taking. Don't listen to that. Like, seriously, I know that I'm on my soapbox right here right now, but don't listen to somebody saying this is who's taking 4 or 5, because what happens is somebody trades into 5 and they ruin your plan and now all of a sudden your rookie board is shot. Snoog, I mean, are you on the same boat? Ladd and Tet, I'm smashing that all day. I think Tedoroy McMillan is going to be a top 12 dynasty wide receiver by the end of September.
Yeah, I like the Ladd and Tet side, especially in a rebuild as well. The way I run a lot of rebuilds is I just completely rip the thing down. I just heard a wicked, wicked loud bang in my house. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was. I might have to go check on that. That's not good. But in a rebuild like this, I really want to go after these type of guys and just rip it down, have as minimal as possible, and just keep building back, like Dad always says, rather than building up.
Yeah, and while Snoog checks on that, he's going to go check the life alert on the family here. Since Snoog stepped out, we got Big Draft Energy said Goat Talk. Make sure you guys check them out. Him and Sleazeball are starting to do some cool things over there. Brock, let's move on to the second trade. And when we do that, since Snoog's out, the first person to do a super chat tonight, I'm just going to give you a free month of basic Smash. Just because Snoog left, spice it up a little bit. That first super chat, I don't care if it's 99 cents. All right, we're going to give you a free month of basic. So drop that in there. Hey, Snoog's back. Here we go.
All right, trade number 2 here coming from Colton Trammell over from the Discord. We got one side with Travis Hunter, the other side with the 108, 111, and 203. Snoog, we've seen your tweets. Travis Hunter's your 102. Would you trade this to go ahead and move up to the 102, or vice versa? Would you tear down, trade back, and take the package? What do we like here?
Yeah, I want Travis Hunter here. I'm getting an elite asset with a ton of upside over what? Emeka Egbuka, Tyler Warren, and Luther Burden. So to me, I want the superstar asset here. I truly think Travis Hunter is going to be a superstar in the NFL. Like, I'm so confident in that. I'll put my whole reputation on it. I did it with Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm doing it with Travis Hunter. I think he's that good of a player.
I don't look at him the same way that you do. However, like, I look at this two different ways, right? The 108, the 111, and the 203. I mean, I'm smashing at the 108. I've been getting, I think RJ Harvey's going to have a fantastic 2 to 3 year window here right off the bat. It's going to put up crazy points, or Tyler Warren, or, like, I think based off your team at the 11, I've been getting Egbuka at the 11 or trading out of the 11. I'm looking at this as I'm going to take the 108 and get my preferred asset. I'm going to trade the 111 for a 27 first, which I've been doing everywhere. Like 110 through 112, I have not drafted. I'm just trading them all straight up for 27 first. It seems to be working. And at the 203, I like Trey Harris there. I like the Luther Burden. So I think I'm going to take multiple shots on this. But if you are, like, for me, and this is where the difference between Snoog and I is, if you said that was Tedoroy McMillan, I wouldn't do it. And I'm a little bit more bullish on him. He's a little bit more bullish on Hunter. Neither of them are wrong at this point. Both of them have top 12 upside. So I think that's just depending on what your team looks like. If you're rebuilding, I would potentially sell this just to kind of get yourself 3 assets and really start to build out before you build out. Hey, there's that first super chat.
We got our first super chat coming in from Ambiguity. Appreciate the super chat there, Ambiguity. He said, not a trade question, but how do y'all handle the taxi squad? Dad, I'll pass this one over here to you. What is your strategy post-draft, maybe with attacking some rookies there for your taxi?
So, I mean, most leagues, you get that 5 taxi squads in there. That's almost like 5 free squares. A lot of people don't pay enough attention to that. Of like, I look at my league mates, and all the settings for the Smash Leagues is you can pick up a guy and put him under your taxi. Some of them you have to draft them, but I'm not wasting a single spot. I will go out there and pick up Nick Nash, and I will pick up, like all these guys where I'm like, hey, what does it hurt if you have them on there? Just use them as that extra spot. Most of my taxi squads right now are filled with Dylan Sampson, Devin Neal, Ollie Gordon. In that 3rd and 4th round this year, I'm stockpiling the heck out of those guys. I'm trying to get as many guys that are going to give me Brashard Smiths and Jaquez Hunter and guys like that, where I can just load them up as high upside taxi stashes. What about you, Snoog?
Yeah, what I like to do is, honestly, when you're picking up players after the rookie draft, that's like one of my favorite things. I look forward to waking up and seeing if I got the guy on the claim, but I always will do one big wave, fill up that taxi squad, and then do another big wave of waivers. Like you said, whether it's Nick Nash, Torrey Horton, whoever it is on the waiver wire that I can find, Keandre Lambert-Smith, any of these guys, I'm picking them up, I'm putting fab in on them, and I'm filling that taxi squad up. I typically then, if you're asking for the season, I'll throw any guys that are undrafted or backup quarterbacks or stuff like that on the taxi, and typically like to keep running backs on my bench because injuries, insurance policies, all that good stuff. But that's how I run.
You were talking about how we do things after startups, after rookie drafts. New guy in the Discord, Chesty LaRue, which if you guys are Simpson fans, you get that episode reference. He said, Dad, greetings from Ireland, which is the cool thing here. Must say I'm in a few Dynasty Discords, and you and Snoog are straight knocking it out of the park. My man Chesty LaRue, he got an invite into Smash Accept 19, which is Smash International. That is halfway full if you guys are from another country. and you guys want to join the Discord, you want an opportunity to draft with myself and represent your country, have a little bit of fun, Smash Accept style, go ahead and, send me a DM. We're starting to fill that up now. Super competitive league. Gonna be a lot of fun. And then Smash Accept 20. If we get 20 super chats tonight, we're going to give away an entry to that. Snoog and I are both going to be drafted in that one. That's a $200 league. We're excited because I have not done one of those. I'm always in the Smash Accept standard $50. Snoog and I are going to play a little high rollers with you guys. And Binksy's got trade number 3.
Yes, sir. We got trade 3 coming from Binksy17 from the Discord. One side is Calvin Ridley, the 103, a 26 first and a third, or Justin Fields and the 102. Snoog, I'm going to kick this one over here to you. What do we think?
102, 103, same thing to me. So I want the Ridley in the first and third over Fields.
Yeah, I'm there too. I actually love Calvin Ridley's upside right now with Cam Ward. I think he's going to have a fantastic, at least wide receiver 2 season. So the 102, 103, if you don't have a strong preference, you're right there. The 26 first and Ridley over Fields. Snoog, I mean, if you're really running back needy, I have no problem. And quarterback needy, I have no problem taking Fields in 102. But for me, I'm 103 and going from that side. And as I'm in here, typing in all these, trying to get a show sheet together. He came in here about an hour early. My man, Sean Carvin, I told him we'd get it in there. So, Brock, go ahead and take this one. This is trade 4.
All right. Yeah. Appreciate the messages here, Sean. We got a 10 team league, start 10, Superflex PPR. He traded the 102, which was Hampton, for David Montgomery for Bijan. So we'll start here with this one. I know he left another message, but bring it on out.
It don't even matter on that one. He said he also traded 106, for Pearsall. None of that matters. This one, you crushed it, brother. You go. I love Amari on Hampton. I do. But if you could take, and this sounds like David Montgomery Day. Snoog and I did an entire show earlier on our top 10 Dynasty buys. And all these trades were like David Montgomery and the 106 for Travis Hunter. Done. David Montgomery and the 102 for Bijan Robinson. Like, take David Montgomery, package him up with the one whatever you want, and move yourself up. I love David Montgomery too. That's the thing, Snoog, is like, he's a great football player. He's going to put up RB2 numbers, but if you can use him to get to Bijan, like, that's the difference with the 102, right? Is like the 102 itself is great, but you can trade it for so much more.
You really can. That's the thing with the 102 is you can get, like, I've seen Nico Collins go for the 102. I've seen so many great players that it's just like, I think I've made one 102 trade because I literally could not trade it, or pick because I couldn't trade it. Every single other one I've traded to 3 or 4 and just taken Travis Hunter and Ted McMillan, literally in every single rookie draft. That's like how I've been operating at the 102.
I've done the opposite, or I've done the same, but to get Hampton, I've gotten Hampton at 103, 104 and all of them. Like, the 102 does not feel like the place to pick. It feels like the place to trade it for another asset. I see about 40 or 50 messages on here. Guys, we are only going to be able to do the show sheet and super chats. So, guys, we get 5 of those. We're going to do a free basic. 10 of them, we're going to do 2 rookie guides and 2 VIPs. And then if we get to that crazy 20 like we did for my birthday, we're going to put in another spot in there. So,
feel free to ask questions like who to take on. If you guys have on the clock questions, rookie draft stuff, feel free to throw those in there. If you're super chats, we'll answer those for you too. It doesn't have to just be trades.
All right. Trade 5 here from Seth Williamson over on Twitter. Got a little RB swap here. We got the 101 in Brees and Bijan in the 203. Bring it on out.
Yeah.
Bring it on out.
Yeah.
That's cowbell territory.
So here's the deal on this trade. And Snoog, I want you to comment on it, but the gap between Bijan and Genty is not this big. But everybody keeps thinking, they're like, okay, well, Bijan's been really good for multiple years. Genty's going to be on par or pass him at some point, I think. And the gap between, if this was Brees in the 108, I might debate it because I think Brees is worth the 104, 105. But the 203, I mean, what if you really need a running back? I mean, do you want Bijan and Scatabo or do you want Brees and Genty? I mean, Genty's a smash. There is literally less than a 2% chance that he is not a multiple season RB1.
I was going to say, is there even a gap between Genty and Bijan? I feel like we're at the point where it's like,
same tier.
You're just getting Bijan 2 years younger.
Yeah.
in a literal better situation because he's going to get the ball more. It's not going to have to worry about Tyler Algier.
I wouldn't draft Genty over Bijan.
No,
You know,
that's
like
just bad. That's bad market value. But
right. So but we're in that same area, and I don't think Genty's going to get a clear 100%. The interesting part to me with the Raiders is it McCormick? Is it Zeus? Is it Mostert? Like, who's the RB2 to have as a handcuff? And nobody knows at this point. I think it's probably going to end up being Mostert until he falls over. You know, but hey, second super chat on the board, Los, just straight up for the love of the game.
For the love of the game.
We love those two. Get it in there, get it going. Thank you, Los. Los Talks Pats. Awesome guy. We really appreciate you jumping in there. So let me get up to the next trade here.
6. Yep. From Gus Invictus over on the Discord. So we got a little stack. We got Dak and CD with McBride and 109 on one side.
Holy crap.
Other side with Burrow, London, and Njoku and Joe Mixon. So, Dad, I'll kick this one over here to you. What do we think here?
Gosh, this one's huge. So that's what she said. Here we go. So we're looking at, man, CeeDee Lamb and the 109 is equal to, no, man, this is tough. Because I want Burrow.
I'll answer for you.
Burrow's the best asset in this trade. No doubt about it. So, I mean, I think the gap between Lamb and Burrow is probably the 109. I think McBride equals Drake London. Now, like, I have them both, depending on what the tight end premium is, right there. So that is Njoku or Mixon or Dak. So, I mean, I want the Burrow side, in my opinion, but it's really close. Because I think Drake London's going to absolutely smash this year. It gives you a ton of room to grow there. So if it's 0.5, I want Burrow. If it's 0.75 or 2 tight end premium, I want the McBride side.
Yeah, the way I looked at it is I'm taking Dak and Lamb over Burrow, and I like McBride over London, and I like the 109 over Njoku and Mixon, but it's all splitting hairs. I just love I think the left side is such a good team building move for you. Like, you're getting a great producing quarterback, an elite wideout, an elite tight end, and Colson, Loveland, or Emeka Egbuka in my rankings. So for me, I love the left side, but I think it's super close because you're giving up the best asset by far in Joe Burrow and an elite foundational wide receiver in Drake London. But getting off into Njoku and Mixon and going to like a Colson, Loveland, and Emeka Egbuka type of player for me is a big deal. So I really like that side.
Trying to buy a Joe Burrow is literally impossible, though. Like, that's the tricky part. It's like Drake London is ascending, and trying to buy a Joe Burrow is really it's like it's about as hard as you can get. Crystal Catching Outdoors is back. Let's go.
Let's go. Appreciate the super chat there, Crystal. He said he just traded Garrett Wilson for Travis Hunter straight up.
Ooh.
Snoog, what do we think on this? I know you're a big Garrett Wilson fan, a big Travis Hunter fan. Who are you taking right now between them?
This is splitting hairs for me. I want Travis Hunter. I think I do. It's so close. Hear me out. Because if Garrett Wilson goes out and puts up another 1,000 to 1,100 yard season in like 70, 80 receptions and just has a good year, he's not going to gain value because he's doing the same damn thing for 4 straight years. If Travis Hunter goes out there and has 900 to 1,000 yards, he's going to be a top 5 to 10 wide receiver in dynasty rankings right away like that. That's why I would take Travis Hunter. And I think there's a clear path for him to do that.
I just think BTJ, he's not passing BTJ, period. Like, I don't see that part happening on there. But I mean, this is right now where you take a guy who's younger, you take that upside. I'm taking Garrett, but I don't fault anybody for doing that because they're in the same tier for real.
All right. Trade number 7 and 8 here. We got 2 back-to-back from Anthony G over from Twitter. First one's going to be the 105 and tacking on Kamara to go and get Hampton. Dad, what do we think about this one?
This is an absolute smash. If you can move up, I mean, I like Kamara, but I think that, and then his other one is he traded the 106 in Purcell for Hunter. I put this on there for Anthony G because he did one for me and he did one for Snoog. You know, like Purcell and the 106. Purcell is like the David Montgomery of the wide receivers. You use him to move up. You move from Travion Henderson, and you go up and you get Hampton, or you go up and you get Hunter, and then you take the 105. Similar type situation. You add Kamara, you go up and get Hampton. Snoog, I know you're probably leaning on the 105 one there over Hampton, but I think these are the type of moves that you and I want to make, though, is like, depending on what you're doing, let's say this is 105 and Kamara for the 102. You would do that for Hunter. So that's where where we vary
Yep,
is I have Hampton
exactly.
2, you have Hunter 2, but this is the process, right? If you could trade a 105 and an aging vet, as much as you and I love Kamara, he's a year away from completely dropping off in value or staying relevant, where you move up. And Purcell, he could still go up a little bit, but he's not the same as what you're going to get in Travis Hunter. So these are the deals that Snoog and I talk about all the time, is we're trying to move off middling assets, or in this particular situation, once you get past 105, I don't think it's a lock anymore. I think you have 5 guys in this class where you're like Genty, Hampton, McMillan, Henderson, and Hunter. I think that are can't miss type prospects. Then you move to 6, 7, 8. You're talking Ward, you're talking Judkins, you're talking Harvey. A lot of guys you like, but they could miss, given their situation. So use these type of moves, move yourself up in the draft, and try to present yourself into an area where you're going to make some trades like Roman just did here.
Yes, sir. That is our 4th super chat of the night. So one more, and we got the basic for the Patreon and also a rookie guide. So appreciate the super chat, Roman. He said he didn't want to, but he felt like he had to take a deal days before he was on the clock. He traded 101 and 203 for Jefferson, Kittle, and a second. Wow, brother. Bring it out.
Yeah, no, I'm all for that. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of usually on the other side. I mean, I was going to bring up, I had multiple trades talking about trading Justin Jefferson, and the gap between Justin Jefferson and Ashton Genty, just like the gap between Ashton Genty and Bijan Robinson, really isn't that big. I mean, M Wags had one in the Discord. He traded Jefferson and Kittle, but he got Marv 101 and a 27 first. It's like the gap, Snoog, we talked about it last show. What's the gap between Justin Jefferson and Ashton Genty? It's a first, but it's not an early to first for sure. I don't even think it's a mid first anymore.
Yeah, it's probably like a late first at this point, but I think turning 203 into Kittle in a 26-second, especially that part of that side is really getting it for me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then like you said, like I'm taking Jefferson over 101 by a lot, probably by like a late first. So it feels like free Kittle in a second. It feels like free money all around on that Jefferson side. So well done.
Let's do it.
All right.
Free money. We get 1 more. We'll give away a basic guide. We get 6 more. We'll give away 2 rookie guides and 2 VIPs. A lot of guys really, that's free money because we're going to help you win extra money, and you're getting the Discord and you're getting the rookie guide. So let's do it.
All right. Trade 9 here coming from Yates over from the Discord. We got Ladd on one side, and then it sounds like he's on the clock right now. 105. He can go with Travion, or he can go with McMillan. Snoog, I see you giving me some hand signals. I'll throw this one your way. What do we think?
He said it's going to be one of those 2. It's one of those things where he's talked through. And this is one where we said Ladd versus the 103. It's either going to be Tet or Henderson. So
yeah,
this is one of those scenarios where we don't know what it's going to be. He's assuming that Hunter and Hampton are going to go 2 and 3 and has talked to those guys.
I'm making him throw me a 26-second. I'm taking the 105 side and taking the gamble. Worst case, it's Henderson, who's my Dynasty RB7, RB8 right now, and I think has the upside to easily outscore Ladd McConkey if he hits the ceiling, like very easily, like a 70 reception type running back that can put up 350 fantasy points in this offense, that he's literally the number 2 option, or it's Tet McMillan, who I literally have ranked ahead of Ladd McConkey. So to me, I think it's a potential win-win, but it's a gamble.
See, I've been talking a lot about trying to move up off of, like, if this was 1-6, I would add a second to get to Ladd McConkey. If you get that 1-5, and this could be Tedderoy McMillan, I feel like it's pretty good. But just like I've been posting a lot, like, why draft Tedderoy McMillan and Hunter or trade up for them when you could get Drake London in that same area? And I think for me, Ladd has been top 10 in yards per route run, top 10 in separation, top 10 in scoring. I'm personally taking Ladd here at this point. But like Snoog said, if you could get me Tet in a second, I'm going to do it. Or you get me Tet or Henderson in an early second, I'm going to make those kind of moves. And that's what's great about this, is it doesn't always have to be this or that. At this current juncture, I would hold Ladd McConkey until you know what's there. And then if it's Tet, then you start talking a little bit closer. So, hey, super chats are rolling in. Here we go.
Yes, sir. We got super chats 5 and 6. First one here from Pearson. Appreciate the super chat, Pearson. Said, evening,
New to the
gentlemen.
show.
He traded 104 and a mid to early 26 second for McCaffrey in the 107. So he moved back 3 spots, tacked on a second, and got McCaffrey back. First time catching y'all live. Thanks for the content. Cheers. Dad, what do we think?
We're
His
gonna go
first trade?
cowbell, not on the trade, just for your first time. You know, we guys have been just excited to have you guys watch live. So the 104 to the 107, you know, we'll call that. I do love the 104. I think the 104 is, you know, it's Hunter or it's McMillan or it's Hampton. So you got to pick your poison there.
Mhm.
The mid to early second does not make up the gap here, though. I think the 107 is really nice. So let's just say for this sake, because we're going to talk running backs, this is Hampton and a second, or McCaffrey and Judkins. I'm fine with this. Like, if you're a contender and this is something you're pushing all in here, Pearson, McCaffrey's going to win you leagues this year. I think McCaffrey is going to be healthy and he's going to absolutely dominate. And at the 107, Judkins is going to be something special for sure. So I'm okay with this. It's not a smash, you know, because if this is an early 26 second, I feel like it's a lot closer. If it's mid, I think you end up winning this one pretty easily, especially if you're a contender. Snoog, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right on here with that. I think you're turning, like you said, Hampton, Hunter, or McMillan into Judkins, and then a league-winning type veteran and Christian McCaffrey, who could outscore every single player in this rookie draft with ease.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how good he is in this offense. And they only lost pieces, so he's only going to be needed even more in this offense for San Fran this year. And I friggin' love Quinshon Judkins. You guys know how much I've been preaching him on the show because of how undervalued he was all throughout the process. A lot of people said he was bad, all this, whatever. I finally got my first share of him. Like, I literally was physically allergic to getting him in rookie drafts. Every time I had pick 6, he'd go 5 and I'd get Henderson. Every time I had 7, he'd go 6 and I'd end up with someone else. Like, it was like I couldn't get him, but I finally got him in 2 leagues and I feel really excited about it. So I love me some Judkins and Christian McCaffrey.
I got him in 9, and I'm starting to kind of
you've been
shop him around, and I've been getting him everywhere. Thank you, Pearson. We got 2 more here. We got up to 7, so go ahead, Brock.
Yeah, appreciate the super chat here, Mark. I am not going to attempt to pronounce your last name, but we appreciate you being here. And the next one is from ChiStars86. I can say that. We got a 12-team Superflex PPR, tight ends normal. His quarterbacks are Mahomes, Baker, Richardson. He's a contender. Should he trade A-Rich and Jaden Reed and the 303 for Saquon? We doing it, Dad?
I'm not sure, but como se dice en español, turd sandwiches. You went right and you went there. Yeah. I know I'm doing a little bilingual here. You know, I've been teaching my daughter some Spanish, but I mean, you're taking A-Rich, Reed. Yeah, A-Rich and Reed. Like, Reed is the equivalent of what
I can't
A-Rich
move
is
him.
there.
I can't move
You can't
him
trade
anywhere.
either of these guys. This is short of first. Like, you killed him, ChiStar. Like, he's going to quit.
Yeah.
But, like, that 303 should be a 26 first for me to even consider this. Because A-Rich, as much as you keep seeing these, like, the tweet today that came out, they're like, oh, I'm so back in. He threw a 2-yard out to Josh Downs. You know, like, Anthony Richardson could bounce back, but Saquon's going to kill it. So, I mean, this one, you absolutely killed him there, ChiStar. I love that. That puts us up to 7 super chats. 3 more. And we will get us into 2 VIPs and 2 of the 3.0.
You didn't even get to finish saying it, and we got another one. We got number 8 coming in from C. Herda. Appreciate the super chat, C. Herda. He said, one team is offering the 26-101. All right, so he's saying this guy pretty much is going to be 101 next year. What value would you put for it for the 2025 pick? So what first this year
I like that.
Would you trade for the 101 next year?
106.
What do we think?
Honestly, because I think Jeremiah Love is my 101 at this point. Like, until we see a quarterback. If Arch Manning comes out, 102. If it is an Arch Manning, like, because Snoog, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I mean, would you prefer one of the wide receivers or Hampton over Arch Manning? I would not. If it's Jeremiah Love, I think Jeremiah Love I have above or at least equal to Quinshon Judkins, but not over Travion Henderson.
Yeah, exactly. So next year's class sucks. That's just a given.
But here's the thing: it's gonna be. We always say that with some.
Yeah,
it's still gonna be. It's the 101 still.
Jeremiah Love, Nick Singleton, quarterbacks, Kid Klubnik, Lenore Sells, all those type of guys. Like someone's gonna blow up and be nasty. One of the wideouts, Carnell Tate, Evan Stewart, someone's gonna show up and be good. There's some good guys. The Arizona State kid's pretty good, the wideout over there, but I think I'm with you. I think it's probably in that 105 to 106 range because it's the quarterback's going to be better than Ward. So like wherever you see Ward going, he's probably going to be at least in that range. I don't think
100%.
Arch Manning's I don't think it's going to be Arch Manning.
I
really don't. I think he goes 27. I don't think he goes next year. But if he blows the doors off next year, he's going to the draft. Like if he has an insane year, he's going to the draft because he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. So I
think it's actually. I think if it isn't him, I think it's going to be Lenore Sellers. I think it's going to move up there. You know, you're going to see something like that where you got a guy that it's not going to be the same, right? It's not going to be the 101 is always worth 30 to 50% more than the 102. This year it's worth more. Next year, I don't think it will be. I think we're going to see 5 or 6 really solid players. So
probably going to be Jeremiah.
You still want that 101 though. You need to have that. Frank Joseph jumping in the house.
Let's go, Frank. Appreciate the super chat. He said he declined London for Hunter. So we got offered London. He has Travis Hunter. He's with you, Snoog. Hunter to the moon, baby.
Man.
That's a
Drake
dog
London.
move. I'm rejecting that. I'm rejecting that too.
I would take Drake London all day. He's going to turn into a top 8 dynasty wide receiver this year. But Frank, I still love you. Hey, that's 10 super chats. We get 10 more. We're going to give away that spot into the high roller league with Snoog and I for Smash Accept 20, which Snoog, you're in a bunch of those. Like that's another level when you start to get up a little bit of higher prize money, a little bit more high rollers. You know, we'll start to smoke cigars and get that draft rolling. So next one here we have from my man. And I love when I do this. I say another show a lot of times.
We got another super chat from Cody right below the Frank one.
Yeah,
so that was our 10th.
one. What I was to say is I love when I set up these show sheets where they're going to flow from one trade to the next, and then we get 100 of these. So
appreciate the super chat here, Cody. He said he traded the 102 and 206 and for London in the 210. Is that what we think?
Yeah, I know. I'm for that. I mean, thanks. He says, shout out to Dad and Callow. Al Callow, make sure you guys follow him. He has Callow's Corner in our Discord. He's at Callow FF on Twitter. The London is worth more than the 102. He's closer to the 101 than he is the 102. And then you upgraded. And I think the gap between the 210 to 206 is pretty decent. You know, like I'm seeing some guys, Luther Burden falls to the 206 sometimes. Trey Harris fell to the 206 in my FFPC Pros versus Joes. I think there's a lot of opportunity there where you get that little extra. And Snoog and I try to do that on our trades, and I know Al does too, is he said, I think this started out as 102 for London. It was like, let's get a little bit more. Always just try to get a little bit more.
Yep. Yeah, I like the London side in this trade too. But I really do think there's a huge gap between 2.6 and 2.10, which is kind of holding me back. I actually was reading this like it's London and 2.6 for 102 and 2.10. So I'd actually take the 102 side just because of the gap between 2.6 and 2.10.
Sorry about the dyslexia there. It's a real thing. But I have no problem with
London for Hunter. You would decline London for Hunter, so you got to stay.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I read it backwards. I was wrong. I'm taking the 102 side, but it's close, very close.
All right. Trade 10 here coming from Jay Martin over on the Discord. He said Travion fell to the 107. So Penix in the 410 or 107, 307. So Penix, and it's just Penix for Henderson. What do we think?
Oh, it's Henderson all day.
And
but what I really like, and Snoog and I talk about this, is it doesn't matter what you thought the value was. When Travion Henderson falls to 7, that means somebody there backed off. So you go in there and you go in hard. And I think, Penix, we've been seeing him. He's the most traded asset I've seen in rookie drafts. I've seen him get traded for the 107 to 110. I bought for the 110. I'm selling for the 107, especially if it's Travion Henderson. So I love that one a lot. Going to go over. It looks like we got another super chat here. That is number 11. So let me you guys are making my job difficult, but I love you. So number 10, number 11, here we go.
All right. Appreciate the super chat, Brennan. He said he won the championship last year. Should he trade the 105 for McCaffrey and Pollard? Snoog, you're shaking your head. Would you just stick at 105?
Yeah, all day. keep the 105. If you meant to ask this reverse and trade CMC for Pollard for the 105, yes, take the 105.
I have CMC right now worth about the 108. So if this is a one, like there's no difference between one quarterback and Superflex this year. Like everyone's saying, hey, is it one quarterback? Like 105, the equivalent of the 105 should get you more like Bucky Irving, or should get you more like maybe a little bit more than Jonathan Taylor. What I would do with this particular trade, Brennan, is I would take Pollard off of there, and I would try to get it 105 and a third for CMC in a second, or another player better than Pollard. Like Pollard, I don't think he's going to get it done for you. You know what I mean? So I think we revisit this one a little bit, or get another veteran in there. And I think you should get something closer to a mid-second, like a Chris Godwin or a Devontae Adams, or something that's really going to push you all in, as opposed to a Tony Pollard who's worth something like a late second.
And then we got another one in here. Number 12 coming from Kyle. Appreciate the super chat, Kyle. He said, Dad and Snoog crush it. Snoog, thanks for the roster review. This year, do you think to get into the 204 range or trade out if later than the 204-ish? What do we think on that, Snoog?
I think you want to be in the top 6 picks of the second round, preferably the top 5, or bust. I don't want anything. 207 and 212 is just gross to me. I'd literally rather a bunch of thirds than pick players in that range. Unless like one of Trey Harris, Jaden Higgins, one of those guys, Matthew Golden, Luther Burden falls, which I haven't seen them fall. So
no, they don't fall outside of that. The 204. Snoog and I have been talking. We were talking about it for so long, where we had it the Sweet 16 of this class. Now it's a Sweet 17. You know, and so as long as you're in there, I have seen, and it's crazy, but I've seen people trade a 27 first and like a third for the 204 and a 27 second. It's like, if you can trade back and get something elite, I like the players in that range, but I don't think any of them are going to pan out to be absolutely elite. I think Trey Harris could. I think Jackson Dart, if he, could really ascend up, but I'm not making those kind of moves. So trade up into that top 16, 17, or move yourself into the third for extra assets.
All right, we got Mark L back with another super chat here. Appreciate it, Mark. He said, I need a second RB and want to go with Saquon. Who would you trade and what pick would you go for? He's got Jefferson, Neighbors, Rashee Rice, BTJ, and Nico. So it looks like he's pretty deep at receiver, and he doesn't have a second running back. Dad, which receiver would you maybe move for Saquon straight up, or which pick would you kind of throw on top or try and get back? How would you navigate this?
Okay, so he needs that second running back to go with Saquon. So he already has Saquon. So he's going to trade one of these guys. So I'm not trading Neighbors for anything. I think Rashee Rice is going to go up in value. If I'm trading, and I think I would sit with Jefferson. So I'm either going to trade BTJ or Nico, see what you can get the most for, and then I would trade them in an insulated trade. So I think BTJ can literally, you can get Genty straight up for BTJ. I don't think a lot of people are going to do it. I've seen it done, especially after the Hunter pick. So if you can get Genty for BTJ, I would do that. If you can get Bucky in a first, even if it's late, for either of those guys. I mean, Snoog, I think for me, Rice is going to go up in value, so I think you're going to get the least for him. I would trade for BTJ. I would trade BTJ or Nico for a JT, a Bucky, something like that, plus a first. So I would insulate.
Yeah, I like that. I would try to do something like BTJ for Genty, Gibbs, or Bijan type of trade. Throw a second in there if you need to, or whatever needs to be done. And then I would personally keep JJ, Neighbors, Rice, and Nico, and then I would take future seconds and go get James Connors, Aaron Joneses, and Alvin Kamara. That's how I would approach that.
Do you think they would take, because it sounds like he hasn't his rookie draft yet. I mean, would you trade Rashee for 6 or 7 and just go get Travion or Quinshawn as your second RB?
I wouldn't. I'd prefer to flip BTJ for a superstar running back and keep Rice, because I think Rice is super undervalued right now.
And Rice was one of our biggest buys on our last show. If you guys haven't checked that out, I mean, like, he is going in the last 9 games, he's averaging 18.6 fantasy points per game, and he looks sharp right now. Like, he looks mid-season coming off that injury, just like Bob from the Discord looking mid-season right here.
Trade 11 coming from Bob from the Discord. We got one side with Puka and a late 26 first, other side with 104 and JSN. Dad, I'll kick this one back over to you. What do we think on this?
104 JSN. I think JSN is going to continue to move up the dynasty rankings. I think the 104 is either going to get you Hunter, Tet, or Hampton, which is where I want to be. As much as I love Puka, the gap between JSN and Puka is not the same as the gap between a late 26 first in a down class versus the 104 in an elite area in 2025. Snoog, can you take Puka here?
I want the JSN side. I comfortably want Travis Hunter, Amari Hampton, or Tet McMillan over that late 26 first. And I like Puka over JSN, but not by that gap between those players in the late 26 first for me. Because if you think about it, that's 110 to 112. One, it's a worse class than this year's. To go from 110 to 112 to 104 in this year's class is taking a first plus. So I'm looking at it like JSN and 2 firsts, literally. Like that's what I'm getting from this.
All right, trade 12 here coming from Owen Headley over on the Discord. We got one side with Chase Brown, other side with a 27 first and a 26 third. Snoog, are we chain Chase Brown for a 27 first right now? What do we think?
Rebuild, yes. Contending, if my team's loaded and I need running backs, I don't mind taking the Chase Brown side. But by the time you make that pick, I bet you Chase Brown's dust and that pick's very valuable. So that's a gamble you make to win, but that's just my context behind it.
Here's the interesting thing about the 27 first, right? Is you have to really put on the lens of what this is going to look like. I am trying to trade. I'm trying to look at the team, Snoog, right now that has Matthew Stafford and Derrick Henry and Devontae Adams. Every league has that one team. Usually it's you or me, but we got that Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon. Like in 2 years, that team is going to be crap. Trade them Chase Brown for their 27 first. They think they're going to win. They win in 26. They are 25. They suck in 26, and now they're begging for that pick back. You know, and I think you really got to take the lens of what does this look like. If this is mid to early, you're going to get cooked. If this is late, okay, it's there, but it's like I'm not trading that 27 first in May before the season even starts because this could only look bad.
So good. Imagine Arch doesn't declare and plays in
27
too.
No, I think that's the thing too.
Any of the other quarterbacks like Sells or any of those guys, Club Nick, like if they go back another year, like it just could be even better.
Mm-hmm.
All right, trade 13 coming from Snoop Beltooks from the Discord. We got one side with Garrett Wilson and the 205, and the other side with the 103. So 103, Wilson. Hampton or Hunter or Tet. Do we want one of them, or do we want Wilson in the 205? Snoog says Wilson. Dad, what do we think?
It's Wilson, but Snoog, if that's Hunter, you still is the 205 separated for you?
Yeah, I'm going to take Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, I'm smashing the Wilson side here too. I like this a lot, but I think the perception on Wilson outside of Smash Accept is not as high as Snoog and I have him. You know, the talent's elite. Like you could see him really move up, but if like Snoog said, it's like this could be 4 straight years of 1,000 yards, but nothing super flashy. And then you just keep him in that area. The thing when you look at Garrett Wilson is every year. Last year was the wide receiver 10, but you look at fantasy points per game, it's a totally different story, right? Like you have to look at what they're doing every game, not as a whole.
Yeah. So this next one's coming from Ryan Lucas and Dad Possibility. We got one side with you sending this in a bunch of leagues. We got one side with AJB and Hendo. Other side with Garrett Wilson and Quinshon Judkins. Dad, was this a trade with you? Was this one of your trades?
This is one of the trades where we're just trying to talk about it. I took Judkins. He took Henderson. I have 7 firsts going into next year, and I'm like rebuilding it here. Snoog and I have already talked about this one. I want to get your opinion here. What do you think between just in a vacuum? Now, I did not take it. I kept the Garrett and Judkins side because I'm punting. So it's like Garrett Wilson probably will be worth more than AJ Brown next year. That was the only reason I decided not to do it. But I wanted to get your opinion here on this one because it's an interesting trade, right? Like when you do a this or that, this is about as close as it gets.
Yeah, I honestly, I just don't feel strongly a certain way. So it kind of makes sense. And you're in the same mindset that you just kind of stood pat. I mean, I think AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson are neck and neck in my rankings. And then Henderson and Judkins, the 106, 107 in this year's draft, or if you like Ward behind them, then they're your 5 and 6. But It just doesn't seem like if you're saying you have strong conviction on either one of these sides, I think you're just lying to yourself.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like you can't feel strongly one way or another. I mean, Henderson and Judkins, both elite running backs, 2 picks apart in draft capital. AJ Brown and Garrett. I know people are like, you know what you're getting out of AJ Brown. The points are there. There's a little more like maybe like comfort or like stability in your mind. But I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a great year with Justin Fields. There's no one else he's competing with there. So like if he outscores him this year, he's going to be way above him anyway. If he's 28, Garrett Wilson's still 24. So I don't know. It's just like it's 50-50.
That's why I put that in there is you don't have to do every trade, right? Like the AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson are 1 pick apart in ADP on Dynasty Data Lab, and Henderson and Judkins are 1 pick apart in rookie draft. So it's like pick your poison. If you like to make these moves and it makes more fun for you, you do it. I still haven't done it. If
you want to see some different pictures in your lineup, go for it,
Yeah.
All right. Trade 15 from K Lyle over on Twitter. We got one side with Caleb, Brees, and Jaden Reed. Other side with Tua, the 101, or Chris Olave. Snoog, what do we think on this one here?
Ooh.
This one's close.
Caleb over the 101, Brees over Olave, Tua over Reed. I want the Caleb side.
I do too, but he said Tua was
it's damn close. It's not a trade I would make. It's not.
No, I mean, like the Olave Reed is what throws it off for me. Like Caleb Brees for Tua 101 is not horrible. I prefer Caleb Brees. The Olave side just evens it out again, like the last trade. Not one you have to make, but if it's a 6-point passing league or it's very quarterback friendly, I would take Caleb.
Yeah, if you want that QB1, get Caleb, and then you're still getting Brees for RB production. I like that side.
Mm-hmm.
Trade 16 coming from Shooty 317. We got one side with the 104, 204, Jonathan Brooks and Deebo Samuel. Other side with the 107, 110, and a 26th third. So it's one of those trades, 104, 204, Brooks and Deebo. The picks in the middle of those, 107, 110, and then a third next year. Dad, what do we think on this one?
I'm going to pull this one up because we were kind of going over this one in the actual chat. I mean, I prefer the 104 considerably over the 107. Is the 110, 204, Snoog, is that enough to sway you one way or another?
If it was based on my rankings and I was getting like a Judkins and a Loveland or a Buka type of player for Hampton for me, I probably would take the Loveland and Buka side. But if it's for me, Tyler Warren and Cam Ward or Tyler Warren and Judkins, I probably would prefer to take Hampton and the 204 in this side. It would be I'd be so picky with this, and I would want to know. I would want to have the picks already made 104 through 107 and see who's there at 110 for me to make this trade. That's how picky I would be about this.
So there is another part to the message that says 104, 204 was Tet and Trey Harris. 107, 110, the person took Cam Ward and Jackson Dart.
Oh, the Ted all day.
I mean, I would take Tet there, but that's one. It sounds like it's one of those ones where he traded to the 104 and the other guy just wanted quarterbacks. The guy going Ward and Dart decided he just wanted 2 quarterbacks. I would not have; those would not have been my picks at 7 and 10. But Ward would have been there. Like when Judkins goes 6, that changes this trade completely because I'm not in on Ward.
Same.
Yeah, Dart 110 feels like a reach there. All right, trade 17 coming from Davare on the Discord. We got one side with Jefferson, Brees, and Josh Downs. Other side with Drake London, Bucky Irving, and the 102. Dad, what do we think here on this one?
I am buying London everywhere. Like if I can get London and the 102, no matter who you like there, Snoog, like the gap between London and Irving for me equals Jefferson or less. But though I would rather have the 102 over Halls and Downs. Like I want this London side pretty handedly, depending on whatever you want there at the 102, whether that's Hunter, Tet, or Hampton. I love this side.
See, I'm going in spirals on this one because to me, I'm looking at it like I'm taking Brees Hall and Downs over Bucky, and I'm not thinking twice about it. Like a million times out of a million for me.
That's fine. But
And
then
then I'm
you
looking at
wouldn't
it like Jefferson for London and Travis Hunter. Like, would I do that?
100%.
Probably.
I think
I probably would.
I think you have to. I mean,
I don't.
I think
I
that's where
like
we're at.
I like Brees Hall over Bucky Irving by so much, though. Like, I think the ceilings are just not even close
Well,
in
but
comparison to each
if
other.
you're looking at value, Bucky's worth more than
And
Brees Hall.
skill set. Yeah,
Bucky's
that's
worth more
crazy.
than Brees Hall. So
Yeah.
I mean, Downs and Downs is the guy that I'm trying to sell wherever I can on that particular one.
Sure,
Brock, which side do you like out of this one?
Oh man.
We're not making you pick your favorite parent. You know, we're just rolling you in there as a tiebreaker.
Ducky Irving.
I think more values on the London Irving 102 side, just what you can do at 102. Could you go back to 104 and just get the one who falls and then pick up another late first, early second? So it's like that's how I'd approach it on that side. But if you're just, I don't know. I kind of just want Jefferson too. It's like, you know, I'm kind of moving. I spent a 3rd round pick on Bucky. I'm moving that with London and a pick. I just take, I don't know. And you're getting the dynasty wide receiver 1 or 2. So that one's tough, but value, I think I'm going to agree with you, Dad, and take the London, Bucky, and 102 side. Trade 18 coming from Gabe Curram over on Twitter. We got one side with Marv in the 205 and the other side with Garrett Wilson. A lot of Garrett Wilson trades tonight, and the 110. So is the gap, Snoog, for you between Marv and G. Willie the 110, 205, or
nope.
Are we taking the Garrett Wilson side here?
I want Garrett Wilson here all day.
I do too, but I mean, I want Marv over Garrett. I really do. I think Marvin Harrison's going to bounce back, but the 110 versus 205 is a pretty big gap because 110, you can get Harvey, you can get Caleb, you can get Warren, you can get a real nice asset. 205, you're going to it's Jaden Higgins or bust.
I got a hypothetical for you. If Marvin Harrison Jr. outproduces Brian Thomas Jr. this year, do you think he flips them in Dynasty? And do you think he flips Puka and Nico Collins if he puts up like 1,200 or 1,300 yards? Probably, right? Because that pedigree and who he is, he finally lives up to that hype.
What
he would definitely flip Brian Thomas if he outproduced them.
You can still get Marvin at 27 first for BTJ.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But you can do it. But I mean,
BTJ do that right now.
2 months ago, that's not. Now I've seen it. You could still do it, but I think now it's going to get a lot closer with Travis Hunter there. But I think a BTJ is just he produced such an elite season where everybody has that Kyler Murray bad taste in their mouth. Let's go. And the next trade has Kyler Murray in it, so let's do it.
Yeah, we got a big one here. This one's coming from Fizzle K7 from the Discord. All right, first side, Penix T-Law. 102, 107, 26 first. All right, so you're getting 2 QBs, 2 7 first next year. Other side, Mahomes and Kyler, Achane, Kmet, Hunter Henry. How did he find his way in here? And then a 3rd and a 4th. We won't really pay attention to that. Snoog, I'll let you digest, and then I'll kick it over to Dad. What do we think here?
I helped him cook this up. I told him.
Oh, you did?
I think I told him to take the T-Law side.
Yes.
Yeah.
I look at this like Penix and Lawrence and the 107 and 26 first is like you're crushing Mahomes and Kyler there. The 102 over Achane, Kmet, Hunter Henry, 26 third, and the 404.
I'm taking Hunter Henry over Kmet, so
yeah, that's ugly. So I like the Penix and Lawrence side and what you're able to do with the 107, 102, and that 26 first. So I like that one.
I feel like Lawrence could outscore everybody there if he hits his ceiling this year.
Lawrence?
Probably
Lawrence
won't, but like he could.
Mahomes or Lawrence in the 107?
I want Lawrence to put up Baker numbers so bad because like Baker putting up Baker numbers, he's not even cracking the top 10 again. But if Lawrence does, he can creep up there. So
yeah, he's 25 years old with the pedigree he has. If he puts up like 4,500 yards, he'll be back as like a top 7 QB in Dynasty, top 8.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Like the gap is not that far, so I would definitely take that one. We got our 13th super chat here, actually 14th. For some reason, one of them's not.
Yeah, the number's wrong. 14th here, coming from Ty K. Appreciate the super chat. Ty says, "Feeling froggy." Does that mean sick? Is he feeling sick? We got one side with BTJ, other side with 107, 112. He has the 104 Nico and Rashi at receiver, but he needs depth at running back and tight end. Probably thinking he could go Judd Contendo or maybe Warren Loveland at 112. Would you take those for BTJ, Dad? What do you think?
No. I mean, no, absolutely not. I would 100% prefer this. I would prefer the BTJ side. I think BTJ,
too.
you're getting the preferred piece that you know what it is. So yeah, I'm
Nico
taking
Rice.
BTJ.
Nico Rice, BTJ, and you're probably going to get Travis Hunter or Ted McMillan at the 104. That sounds like a damn friggin' awesome wide receiver core that I wish I had on my team. So,
I mean, if you made this, oh, man, I just don't think you're going to get the wide. You could get a tight end here, but it feels like it's too many needs. You
that's
have
what it
great
needs
wide
to be right
receivers.
there. It needs to
I
be the
think
one-on-one.
What people want to do sometimes, they want to turn that elite player like a Brian Thomas Jr. into multiple different assets and try to save their squad. And I think a lot of times it's just too early. You know, if you are in a rebuilding team or a team that's not ready yet, you keep building out. You keep building that out. And then next year you dominate, as opposed to 107 and 112. Let's just be honest. Both of them could flop. BTJ will not. You know, if you want to trade back and you need a tight end, you trade BTJ for, you go out and you get, I don't know, let's say Kittle plus a Garrett Wilson, or not Garrett Wilson. You're not going to get that high. Kittle and T. Higgins. I think, would you rather have Kittle and T. Higgins or Brian Thomas Jr.? I think I'd still try to take BTJ, but you go out and you get known assets as opposed to rolling the dice on two guys in that late first range.
Mm-hmm.
All right, trade 20 here coming from Matt Haas over on Twitter. We got one side with Omari and Hampton and the other side with Devonta Smith and Bryce Young. These trades are always a bit tricky because it's a running back on one side, receiver and quarterback on the other. But for Dad, sounds like it's not. What do we think? How are you analyzing this one?
Oh, it's not even close for me. Bryce Young is not a guy that I want to start ever. And Devonta Smith, and I know about this trade, Devonta Smith is his wide receiver 6. Bryce Young is his quarterback 4. So, I mean, and I have teams like that where you're just like, all right, we'll just take a guy that's worth the 1.6 and a guy that's worth the 1.8 and move up to the 1.2 if you have strong conviction and you get your guy Snoog. And, you know, if your guy is Hampton or Hunter, you go get that guy because they're going to go up and put up much better numbers than what you're going to expect from Young as your quarterback 4 and Devonta as your wide receiver 6.
I agree.
Yeah. We're up to 15. I don't know why it keeps unstarring our super chats. We got another one in here. So let me get down to that one. 15. That means we get 5 more. And we are, Mike Honcho. There we go.
Yes, sir, Mike Honcho. Appreciate the super chat. He said, would you trade a late 26 first on top of the 106 to move up into the 103? Snoog, what do we think?
If Travis Hunter's not there at the 103, I'm not doing this trade. If he's there at the 103, I'd consider it. But if I could get Hendo in a first, honestly, for Hunter, McMillan, or Hampton, I'm probably going to take the Hendo side. Even Judkins, I really don't like giving a first on top of either of those elite running backs to move up to one of these guys.
Mike, I feel you there. You know, we both did those spreads for Playgirl magazine back in the day. From Mike Honcho. You guys are too young for Talladega Nights, but a lot of you guys will understand that one. I'm taking the 26 first plus the 106 here.
That's unless
I have super strong conviction about one of those players, which I like them all, but I don't think I would do it. So I'm giving the 106 and the 26 first. That is 15 super chats. Let's move on to got 2 more trades. So you guys have a couple more minutes here to get those last couple questions in there. I know, honestly, the amount of questions that are underneath, I can't even scroll down. It's insane how many of you guys are trying to get in there, but it has to be a super chat, guys, because we got to keep the show moving.
All right, trade 21 here coming from Dino Fisherman from the Smash 4 League. We got one side with Nico and 301, other side with BTJ. Kind of just 301.
Snoog,
we'll take that out for a second. Yeah, who do you prefer here, Nico or Brian Thomas?
I want Nico here. Nico and the 301 for me. It's splitting hairs, but I'm getting a free 301 because they're literally back-to-back in my ranking. So,
yeah, I'm taking BTJ there just for the 4-year age gap. That's the only thing for me there. So we got a couple more quick hitters.
Yes, sir. We got trade 22.
This one's me.
All right. We got one with Dad and Joseph Spanier in Smash 13. One side, Calvin Ridley, a 27 first and a 26 second, and the 312. Other side with 110, 211, and the 405. Dad, you kind of revealed your hand earlier. You said you've moved some of those late first for 27 first. So I have a feeling which side's yours.
So why don't you two guys break this one down? Snoog, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the Ridley side here. I think it's a pretty fair trade in a nutshell, but I just really want to get. I know like the way this guy's probably looking at it is like, okay, I'm trading a first 2 years out in advance. I'm getting a guy now. I'm getting a second. So I'm getting a Buka now. I'm getting a second now. Having it be a Buka makes it even closer for me. So I really just prefer the Ridley side because I think Ridley's going to blow up with Cam Ward. And then the first and second swaps is fine for me, but I kind of look at it like a free Ridley from my values. But Igbuka is going to be a stud.
And basically, you throw out the 312, you throw out the 4.5, you throw out the 211 and the 26 second.
Exactly.
So it becomes Ridley and a first for 110. And when I do these trades, before I let you break it down, Brock, when I do these trades, I look at it always as that 27 first is late. So let's just say it is a late first. The 110 versus a late 27 first is dead even, so you get Ridley for free. But if it ends up being mid, you win. And a lot of times they end up being early, and then you dominate.
Yeah, no, the way you broke it down was exactly how I did. You even moved up 7 spots this year. The 26 second, good chance it's going to be better than the 211 in the 27 draft. And then, like you said, even if it's a late first, you're going to take the production now with Ridley and a pick that could be better than that in 2 years in a perceived better class than the 110 now. So, yeah, I like your side on that one.
I didn't even see what he did at the 111 or 211 there. But let's go on to our last trade of the night, 23, little MJ status. What do we got here?
And it might be LeBron status, although he's sitting at home right now just like we are. So can't feel too confident saying that. We got trade 23 from Curtis Christensen over on Twitter. One side with the 103, other side with Zay Flowers, the 109 and 304. Snoog, what do we think on this one?
I want the 103, I think, here.
Yeah.
There's a big gap between 3 and 9 for me, and Flowers just is a great player, but I just don't think he'll ever hit his ceiling with that Ravens offense, ever. He'll be stuck at like 1,000 yards and 80 receptions, and I can't do it. I need the 103 here.
I saw a tweet today. The wild thing is that he has like 7 games over 100 yards and like 8 games under 40 or something like that. Like it's just too boom or bust with Zay Flowers. Give me that 103 all day long. I'm really trying to pull up Jay Spanier here just to see who he took at the 211, just to kind of play around with it. It looks like
Jalen Milrow.
That's what I was like, I'm gonna be pissed off if that's what it was, because I love me some Milrow. All right, we have 15 different super chats. Let's get them up on the wheel. I'm gonna do a little quick hitter while you do that.
I already got it ready, brother.
Dang, never mind. I'm not even gonna answer any of your questions.
I'm one step ahead of the game.
Snoog doesn't even like, oh man, there's ones on here from Patrick Spinella and Spock and Ambiguity and Mark L. I can't pronounce your last name, and Josh McGlynn, LB Money. There's Jack Colavecchio, who won our spot last week. There's so many questions in here. We love you guys. We honestly do. And so many of them are from YouTube, which is a great thing. If you guys don't already subscribe, like I said, Snoog, you play a mean shortstop.
I was cracking up at that comment when I saw it.
This guy also last week says the guy on the top right looks like a Walmart version of Lad McConkey as well. So I don't know what you're the Walmart lad. Let's do it. Here we go.
Yeah,
it's up
I'm
on the
Walmart
board.
Lad. I have to throw on the boxing gloves of Lad McConkey.
All right, we get 2 here. This is for 2 VIPs, 2 rookie guides. So make sure you message us. Oh, see Herda, first time in here. So message us either on the Discord, on Twitter, or on YouTube. We will get your email address and send you that, as well as hook you up with the Discord. Give me one more here.
Oh, that's close.
Ambiguity.
Wow.
That was so close. And he deserves it because he did our first super chat of the night. So he definitely
see her just say, what do I win?
You win we're thinking about having a Snoog different calendar we're gonna have where he's gonna have his Walmart lad, he's gonna have his shortstop position. We're gonna get a bunch of it's going to be the Snoog calendar. It's gonna be great. Hey guys, thanks again. Make sure you guys check us out. I'm at Dynasty Dad FF. It's at Broc Dynasty at FF Snoog. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out in the Discord. That's at patreon.com/smashaccept. And make sure you tune in and enjoy the process. You should thank him as well.